Good morning, pregame crew. How are ya? It's Tuesday, May 9th, 2023, 8:22 a.m. Eastern, 6:22 a.m. Mountain Time. I'm Chart Galori, and thank you for being here. Let's say good morning to Shake and Bake. Hi, Keith, Renaissance Man, Greg. Hey, Carlos. Hey, Nugget, Bennett, Ed, Wave, Homebody, Raphael, Blaine. Hey, B-Hawk and Tess. What's up, Simeon, Josh, Jen, Sandor, Sir, Fernando, Trainman Dan, I hope you are well. Hey, Card Lady. Hey, Mary. Perfect, Wave. Thank you. Hello. You know what, Mr. Shake and Bake? Your warm welcomes every morning. You seem like you are always in a good mood. You're a positive person, and I know everybody has their struggles and stuff. But it made me reflect back to Michael J. Fox. Did y'all see his interview this weekend with on CBS Sunday morning, I believe? And the clip has kind of gone around a lot since then. He has Parkinson's and many challenges in life, and his comment was, with gratitude, optimism is sustainable. And I just thought I'd share that this morning. Shake and Bake, you made me think of that. With gratitude, optimism is sustainable. And isn't that true? When you're focused on what you do have, you're not as focused on what you don't have or what's not going right, and life is a little bit easier. And no, this isn't a life coaching show. This is a show where I just get you ready for the trading day. We go over indices, commodities, crypto, movers and shakers of the day. My goal is to inform you on what the economic events are, how is the market shaping up, and give you some potential setups that I'm watching. Trey says, hey. PLTR had a great beat. Back burner watch. Hey, Tim. Hey, Ona Ocean. Sal. Keggers. Go back to the top. Yeah, Carlos, I think bounces are for shorting. Let's look at it. So we have an inside bar. So we're inside yesterday's very large range. So keep that in mind. Volume will most likely be lower today on Bitcoin, and we could have some misdirection, which happens in tightening ranges. And on the 6 hour, you have just a classic potential bear flag. I would say the only thing that negates the classic part of me printing it and putting it in a textbook is that bull volume right there. And when did that happen? Yeah, that happened during the day yesterday. So that's understandable that that would happen during regular trading hours. So potential bear flag. And I know that Bitcoin trades 24/7, but what I mean is while the majority of people are awake. So this tiny little hourly uptrend, when we get these bull breaks without a ton of follow through, we look for potential fake outs on this bear flag. So just keep that in mind. But yes, I would say that short overbought conditions could be for shorting. Have we had 15-minute overbought yet? We haven't had it. Yeah, there it is. It's a back burner. Even the indicator says that. And that's an indicator that we have, this proprietary to TCG. And it tells you when the back burner kicks in for overbought conditions or oversold conditions. Aw. Okay. CMPS. Everybody's all about the psychedelics. Daily chart, impressive bounce. Weekly lower high anticipated. Hourly overbought conditions could be for shorting. That's what I would be looking at. 872 is that resistance area that could hold on an hourly overbought condition. So 865 then 872 are your next resistances. Support 822. I'm just looking at volume. We did have an uptick in volume yesterday. Hey, Josh. Glory. PayPal is on my list today, and I told TCGers I was going to go over how I'm going to trade it, and the trade setup got busted in pre-market. I was looking for a bear break of $71 for a short, but I think bounces are for shorting on PayPal. If we look at this tightening range, y'all look at this squeeze. This pressure building sideways. We've been trading in this range for 2 months. Look at that daily squeeze, 2 months. So a breakdown out of this range, you would anticipate decent follow through. So your next support is at, after 70, well, did we break 70 psychological yet? Yeah, we did. 69.80, your pre-market low, and then below that is 67.29. Actually, let me give you a few more levels. 69.06, 68.22, and 67.29. If I just put them like this, you'll be able to screen grab that if you'd like. The light gray areas are your supports. Okay. Oh, you want resistance too. You have a tiny little resistance here at 71.66 and 72.48. When you go to this chart, $71 screams. Look at this. We had 71 that was in play back here last year. 71, 71, 71, 71, 71, 71. So on a bounce, I would be watching 71 as a potential resistance and 72.48. And Gala USDT. I would still call this an hourly double top with that 2877, your support 2772. And I bet it's a potential 6-hour bear flag. Yep, it's following Bitcoin. Potential 6-hour bear flag. Yeah, it's beat up, but are we in black dirt breakdown? No, we're not. Your next support below this recent low is 2309, so pretty far down there. It is pretty beat up, but just because something is super beat up, that's not a reason to buy it. So PLTR, first 5-minute oversold could be a buying opportunity in regular trading hours. Oh, we had a 50% retrace of that ER move. I didn't realize we'd retrace that much. It has a ton of volume this morning. Right now, volume, 6.8 million shares have been traded so far. This should have some good volatility. This is just an unfortunate pullback. So now on a bounce, a higher high is not as easy because of how far we pulled back. You have a double bottom here at 884 and 883. Hey, Jess. SWK, and I'll go over PLTR again. SWKS, they had an earnings miss. Okay, we're at 95. Hey there, Casey. I will attempt to go over AMD. Squeeze it in. AMD had a wonderful day yesterday. No, we lost that 99.03. 95.02, we lost that. Remember, with earnings or any news story, RSI means a lot less. We can get a lot more extended and beat up on an earnings headline than we can on just normal oversold conditions. So I would say I'm a much more comfortable bear on SWKS, waiting for bounces to short. WW. And oh, it's 6:31. We'll get started here in just a second. Pretty bad pullback yesterday. Gave up a lot of its gains. You've lost 841 support. Your next support's down at 754 and 715. Hey, James, I missed you. Where have you been? Hey, Carlos Puente, I missed you too. Traveling through Germany. How cool. I want to go to Europe. Rome has a nice uptrend. Okay, I said I was going to get started. Trey, you making me look. Made you look, huh? Yeah, it does. Tell me when the RSI gets to 30 on the hourly chart, and that could be a good dip buy. Let's get started with the show. Good morning. This is who I am. I'm Chart Gal Lori, and I'm part of the Chart Guys community. If you want to give me a follow on Twitter at Chart Gal Lori, that would be wonderful. I'd appreciate it. And if you could hit that like button, that subscribe button, that notify button, but just don't hit that exit button. What I do here every morning is I go over commodities, crypto, indices, movers and shakers of the day, and not necessarily in that order. Today we have an energy report at 12 o'clock, and we have our weekly API estimates at 4:30. We have Fed member Williams speaking at 12:05, 3-year note auction. So pretty boring day. Tomorrow will be the opposite of boring. We have CPI tomorrow at 8:30. Yesterday we had a daily inside bar, and I'll kind of map out for you what I see happening today, or what the more likely scenario. That's a better way of putting it. And we have PPI on Thursday and jobless claims. Okay. So yesterday, good morning, Greg. So yesterday we had a daily inside bar here on May 8th. So look at the volume. Do you see how volume declines when we're in an inside bar? And this is what I mean by misdirection. I talked to y'all a lot about tightening ranges, and we have probing of liquidity to the upside and downside, i.e. trying to find buyers and sellers. It's like showing up at an auction house and you only got 5 people sitting there with paddles ready to bid on the next clock. You don't have a lot of people at the auction, and price could vary wildly. If you have this you have this clock that's for sale at an auction. Bear with me. I just thought of this analogy, so just hang with me. And you only have 5 people there bidding compared to maybe the normal is 50. You're going to have this wide range of bid and ask. You're going to have someone say, I'll pay $10. Someone, no, I'll pay $100. No, I'll pay $200. Where if you have 50 people, it's going to be a tighter range, $50, $51, $52, because you don't have that variability, and because you have liquidity, you have people there with money in their pockets. So yesterday we had lower volume. We broke the low of yesterday overnight, but it's not game over yet for the bulls. Let me say that again. I'm going to show you my table that I show you every morning, and it's going to look like I'm saying it's game over for the bulls. That is not what I'm saying. We have a score of 119 to the bearish side today. That is pretty bearish, However, not game over. We have CPI tomorrow. I would expect a big flush or a pop on CPI or PPI. But on a day like today, the precursor, the CPI eve, I would anticipate a lot of hurry up and wait. We're still holding these EMAs. Do you see it? 21 EMAs at 41.31. We're fine. We're okay. No big deal. 412475. That's the level to hold. And I'm not going to call it a bull flag. It's definitely not the classic bull flag you want to see. But if we could hold above 412475, a daily higher high is possible. Not saying it's going to happen. Possible. So let's look at the hourly chart. We have a potential hourly bear flag. I'm not going to lose sight of that. But look at this RSI. I'm going to get rid of the fibs now. And I'm going to show you, blanked out there for a bit. So 412950 would mark hourly oversold on the futures. And 412450 keeps, let me write that out again because I wrote 4124. I'll just make it simple. That keeps a higher high on the table for daily. 4129 is where we would present hourly oversold on the markets. I think that would be a great dip buy. You see that little orange triangle there? I have my alert set. Tell me when RSI gets oversold on ES. I think that's going to be a buying opportunity. So what I could see happening is, let me get back to the hourly chart, is we get oversold in the morning and then we bounce into the afternoon. And I'm not saying it's going to happen like this, but if I'm mapping out the more likely scenarios with all the major sectors and the markets, when you have a bounce like we had Friday, just absolutely falling out of bed and rolling over is not the more likely scenario, because everyone who missed this move on Friday is saying, I want in, FOMO. So they're waiting for these pullback buys. NASDAQ. I would say this is definitely more of a potential classic bull flag here on the daily chart. It looks a little bit better than ES. And we're still inside yesterday's range. We did not break the low of yesterday on NASDAQ like ES did. This is healthy. 4-hour uptrend, super healthy. As long as we keep 13228, a bull flag is on the table. So you see how NASDAQ's stronger than ES? It's hard to be a big old bear on the market when NASDAQ is holding key supports. Oh, that's no fun, James. Let me tell you something, though. For anybody going through divorce or custody battle, life gets easier. And I know that's easier said than... It's easy for me to say that when you're in the thick of things, but it does get better. Just take the high road. It's lonely up there, but take the high road. Okay. And that's unsolicited advice. Everybody's like, we don't care what you say, woman. RTY, potential hourly bear flag. We did lose support on RTY overnight. We lost yesterday's low, but only by $1. That does not a bear break make. RTY is still healthy as far as a potential inverse head and shoulders, and that makes a lot of sense to me on RTY. Potential inverse head and shoulders. That's with KRE, looking for daily higher lows. And so I'm thinking regional banks, and I'm putting these puzzle pieces together. Okay, YM is not as healthy. We're below the EMAs. We lost 4-hour support, but we are bouncing right here. On the hourly, we grazed oversold, which would be a logical area to buy the potential dip. We're holding all key moving averages as well. And let me go back to ES. Do y'all see how these EMAs are flat? This moving average flat. I talk about probably every other week. I should mention it more often. So TIMA. Slope of the EMA. The slope of the EMA tells you who's driving the bus and how fast they're driving it. Who's driving the bus right now? If the slope is flat, nobody. It's a balance. It's an area of balance. We're just going sideways, and we're waiting for that next catalyst. So the slope of the EMAs is sideways, but where are we in location to the EMAs? We're above it. As long as we are above these simple daily 50 and 200 moving averages and these EMAs, you have to pick the bullish side. Even though this table says bearish, at least my rules say I have to stay bullish. I can't get overly bearish when I have all my key moving averages below price on the daily. I feel extra preachy today, and that's not my goal. Okay, we have our second daily inside bar forming on VIX. It is green with the market red, but bulls haven't proven one darn thing on this chart. 4-hour EQ. Okay, Bennett, I got you. Let me write that down. An AMD. When I see my TCG regulars in here and personal friends of mine like Bennett, you're going to get special treatment because that's just life. Isn't it? Isn't it life? TCGers deserve something special because they let us give this away free every morning. Okay. Oh, Wiz Art. Is that Red Devil? You said sister. Hey, Tammy. How are ya? Okay. Stay in line, Lori. Hang Seng was down 2% overnight. I'm not going to get overly bearish on the market just because Hang Seng was down 2%. But you know what? It'll make me go look at NEO. NEO's a potential short today. We had Lucid totally bombed earnings, down 10%. So when we have an EV company and the Hang Seng down, I want to go find something that's closely correlated to both of those, and that would be NEO. NEO, why do I do that? NEO is a potential short today on a bounce. Okay, go back. Stay focused. Stay focused. Bitcoin, a bear flag. That's the more likely scenario on Bitcoin. As long as XLF is holding up, Bitcoin has been having weakness. Remember that inverse relationship. Don't forget it. So even if you're not a stock trader and you only trade crypto, in my opinion, you still should be watching the NASDAQ and XLF as long as these correlations and inverse correlations exist. Support 27455 and resistance 28107.42. We are not clear the hourly EMAs. We are more bearish than we are bullish on Bitcoin. Bounces are for shorting. Resistance 1857.88. And as soon as I turn the mic off, more data enters the market and things change and evolve. So just know that I could say bounces are for shorting and everything could change. If we have a regional bank failure announcement, I'm going to go straight to Riot and Mara for a buy or Bitcoin because it's been working, and I'm going to keep playing that until it stops working. So just remember, when I shut off my mic, it's basically it's just a free-for-all because more data enters the market. Gold is having a nice bounce. Gold had a 4-hour uptrend, but how can I get excited about this when I know a 12-hour lower high is the more likely scenario? And what bulls would love to see is at least make a decent bounce enough for a potential higher low, and I would say that they've done that. Yeah, not quite. A higher low is just not an absolute easy task here with gold, but it would make sense to bounce and then tomorrow and overnight kind of EQ up a little bit, go sideways until CPI, and then have the breakout or breakdown from this. I wanted to show you something. I type this up in the morning, and sometimes I bore myself to death with how I write this because I have nothing interesting to say. But when I was writing this morning, I'm like, wow, that chart sure doesn't look like everything is in an uptrend. It doesn't. So pullbacks are for buying on gold until the bears. Yep, they are available, Slow Devil. They're pretty cool. They have a sleeper cabin thing that goes on top to a tent that you can get. So pullbacks are for buying on gold as long as we have these larger uptrends in play. Oil finally got the pullback I was waiting for, looking for that daily lower high. Now we're inside yesterday's range. API estimates after hours today at 4:30, inventory tomorrow. And we have that energy outlook today at noon Eastern. I don't remember these or me closely paying attention to those, so I don't know how this could impact the oil, but just know that that exists and it's going to come out today. We're below the EMAs, but we're holding that 50 EMA here on this hourly chart, so it's not game over for oil bulls yet, but the daily lower high is the more likely scenario. Nat gas. Can't stand this chart. Daily lower high, the more likely scenario. 4-hour is in an uptrend. Bulls are making a decent effort. Decent. But that 50 RSI has been an electric fence for a while now. All year. All year. We only bobbled over it twice and came right back below. So I have nothing constructive to say about that. USDJPY, daily lower high, the more likely scenario. Bennett, I actually went into forex this morning and I was looking at your setups. I love all the homework that and work that you're putting in. Just wonderful. Daily lower high, the more likely scenario. This 4 hour is just this drift up. You know what this looks like? It looks like the Amazon chart. This drift up and this potential rising wedge type scenario. That's what this looks like. Higher highs are not getting a lot of follow through at all. And I was thinking, where would I short it? 135.324, that represents the best risk to reward as far as a short. So this is how I would map this out. Right there. I would look for a 4 hour lower high compared to 135.324. And then Casey asked about AMD. AMD is a potential 4 hour bull flag. Man, it's already green right now. Can't keep a good man down. Or a good woman. You go, Lisa Sue. For a bull, I would stay in as long as these EMAs are below you on the hourly chart. If you want to be a bull and you want a piece of this action, I couldn't tell you to step in until we get 5-minute potential oversold during regular trading hours. Okay, now let's go back to our list. I need to clean up this. Got too many tickers. Apple. Apple's fine. No big deal. Daily inside bar yesterday. We haven't broke, well, at this point we're not gapping down unless something changes in the next 42 minutes. We're not gapping down. No harm, no foul. We are below the hourly EMAs. I'm not blind to that. I would say as long as we're holding 172.11, this is healthy. This is super healthy. No big deal. And don't forget that first hourly oversold that we get could be a great dip buying opportunity. Don't forget, $90 billion buyback, and Buffett said he wants more. Amazon. Amazon is a short for me, looking for the daily lower high, and look what's right overhead. Y'all know mama don't play with the 200 MA. Overhead, daily lower high, the more likely scenario. So if I'm looking for a short candidate, I'm looking at Amazon. Nvidia. Ain't nothing wrong with that daily chart. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Your next resistance is $300 psychological. This is a beautiful chart. It's a name everyone loves to hate. Potential 4 hour bull flag. And I go set my alert when I see a chart so pretty. Tell me when it gets hourly oversold. You're welcome, Bennett. Dajit, thank you. I will be doing more webinars in the future. Hey, Mavic, I covered PLTR earlier. It's had a pretty large pullback. I would be careful. You could get an oversold bounce, and I'll go over it in just a sec. Tesla's still holding the low of yesterday. No gap down. But as Dan pointed out, we are in a 7-day stair step here. If we break the low of yesterday, bears could get some velocity. 169.19 would be a short. If we lose 169.19, that would be a short signal. Google had news overnight, something about AI. I guess that's what I could say about everything. I don't even have to read the news. If I see AI, that's all I need to know. Bullish. So Google has been sideways for a bit. If we break over, so it looks like we're going to break this weekly inside bar bullish. If we hold these levels, and we need to get over 108.37 to break that mother bar high. Google is a bull. play. If the market gets a bounce going, Google is your long, in my opinion. Amazon's your short, Google's your long. JPM, bearish. Daily low or high, the more likely scenario. And we've already broken through the low of yesterday in pre-market. We'll see if this holds during regular trading hours, or can bulls hold the hourly 50 MA? We'll see. They have plenty of room for a daily high or low compared to 1, 3, 4. Nope. Can't see it. 13181. They have plenty of room for a high or low compared to that. It may take hourly oversold in order for that low to be put in. PayPal, we're losing the $71. On a bounce, $71 could be a good short area. When you have a tightening range for this long, or let's call this a base, all about that base. When you have a base like this and you break out or down from that long of a base, typically you're going to have some really good follow through. So a bounce up to $71, in my opinion, would be a short. You're looking for overbought conditions for shorts on 5 and 15 minute during regular trading hours. And I gave out those support levels earlier in the show if you're interested in that. Shop. Okay, this is a dangerous one. This is dangerous on my part because I tell y'all very clearly I am a trend trader. This sucker is bullish. And I'm not talking about it has had a big bull push on earnings. We're overbought. And I say overbought conditions mean a lot less when it's happening on earnings. I think this is a low risk. I can't say that either. Shoot, what can I say? I think this is a high probability of getting stopped out, shorting shop, high probability of getting stopped out, but a low risk to reward scenario as far as low risk and decent reward if you're right. So if you're wrong, it's just going to be a mere flesh wound. If you're right, it's going to be a good one. So I think shop is a potential short on a bounce. It's super extended up here. And extended is a word that I try not to use because it's meaningless and overused in trading, in my opinion. So why use it, Lori? I don't know. Because I like to talk out of both sides of my mouth. Okay, SMH, and I think this will depend heavily on what kind of day AMD wants to have, but we have a potential hourly head and shoulders forming on semis, and they, for the life of them, can't get through 125.18. So as long as 125.18 holds, this is a short. And NEO, I mentioned earlier, potential bear flag here on the hourly chart. Bounces are for shorting. Hang Seng was down over 2%. Lucid missed. I think this is a decent bottom. So I like when we have breakdown of a clear level, and we have a clear level at 803. Break through that, that's a short signal. And yes, I have a bunch of names today. I don't know why I did this, but I just did. Oxy. Uncle Warren didn't have a lot of nice things to say about Oxy this weekend. He doesn't want to own anymore, he said. You have a double top at 6108, 6115 here at the daily 50 MA. And we have weakness yesterday and more weakness overnight. So bounces are for shorting. This is a reverse back burner for me on the 5 or 15 minute. Hey, Troy, if you're interested in my chart setup, you can click on the link below in the video description on YouTube, and you can get a PDF of an explanation of all the things that's on Lori's chart. A buyback is when Apple says we're going to take $90 billion of our cash and we're going to buy our own stock and take that stock out of circulation. So there will be $90 billion of Apple buying its own stock. Yeah, dodgy. PLTR has been dodgy. I said I'd go over that and I didn't. So PLTR has retraced about 50% of the earnings move. It has a ton of volume this morning. I think it'll be an interesting first 5 minute oversold. That's where I would like to look for a long during regular trading hours. As far as shorts on this, I wouldn't feel comfortable shorting this. Did you, homebody? I did not see that shop downgrade. I was not on my A game this morning with downgrades. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Trying to see what Walter said. Yeah, you're right. Downgrade. $55. Thank you very much. That really helps the setup. A back burner is when you have an outsized move, and I would say this is an outsized move, and you have your first 5-minute oversold, or if you're looking for that hourly high or low, if you're looking for a daily high or low, you're looking for that first hourly oversold after a bull outsized move. Reverse back burner, the opposite. After you've had a large downside move, you wait for first 5 or 15-minute overbought conditions during regular trading hours, and you can look up back burner YouTube chart, guys, and we have a video on it. It has 2 downgrades, JG, on shop. Well, thanks for that. Okay. LMND. And then I'll wrap it up so we can go listen to Dan. Looks like they had an earnings catalyst yesterday. Not earnings, but a news catalyst yesterday. They had earnings back here, but they're having a pretty big bullish day. Pulling back, holding the low of yesterday. It'll make for an interesting back burner setup. Potential 15-minute oversold may be a good place to buy, as it would hold yesterday's low most likely with first 15-minute oversold during regular trading hours, but this is not my ideal setup. I'm going to stick with Shop short, Amazon short, Google long. Those are my 3 favorite for today. Thank y'all for being here. I really appreciate it. Okay. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notify button. Give me a follow on Twitter at CharkAlori. XBI, you took a small LABD position. $84.45. You filled the gap yesterday. That makes sense. You're down here testing the low of yesterday. That makes sense. It's weak. All right, y'all have a wonderful day. And use stop losses.